So how am I hitting with the other objects? I'm doing it through the level shims, aren't I? So the whole point of the level shims is I need to take all this logic out of all this stuff. So hitter ball, previous ball location. Because what's going to happen is if I'm setting locations for stuff like this, then it's not going to work. Because everybody's seeing the ball in a different location, so if we move the ball to the location that the player froze it, somebody else is going to come in, and if two people freeze at the same time and the ball is in different parts of the level, from their relative frame of reference, they will teleport the ball to another location and somebody will be left hanging there. So the only way to resolve it would be only one person can freeze the ball at the same time. Which is not a good solution at all. So what's going to happen is what we'd want to do is teleport. If two people use it near at the exact same time, then there's going to be a problem. Because how do you resolve that? Do we re-teleport them back to some other location? Do we send back the position that the ball is and teleport them there? I mean, really, there's no fucking answer to this. Like, it's just not going to work properly. Shit. I mean, the only way to do this would, and have it look correct on other machines, would be to just... God, it's not going to work. There's no fucking resolution for it. Can't it be first come first serve? Yeah, but I mean it doesn't work. You know, like that. If somebody has frozen the ball, you can't freeze the ball. I mean, I guess kind of, but at the same time, like the ball is going to teleport to that location. It's gonna get sucked to them. So I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the only way to do it and not have really fucked up situations where people steal the ball from each other. But there's no reason for it. Like, why? you know, basically what you would have to have is you'd have to have some sort of thing where you actually take the ball out of play. Because there's no... No, that's not correct, Hurricane. I am teleporting the ball. Like, yeah, you're not... Networking is complicated. The frame of reference, right? One player sees the ball here, one player sees the ball here. Player A does their teleport move and, you know, shows up right here next to the ball. Player B's screen, if player B does this at the exact same time, player B is going to teleport over here. So which one does the server pick? Because if the server, you know, the server picks A because he's first, so, you know, the person teleports here. What we would have to do is basically, and, you know, player B teleports over here, and they both froze it nearly, you know, there's half-second latency here with time. What we'd have to do is have A win, and then we'd have to have B teleport again to fix it or some shit. That'd be the only way to do it. The other thing we would do is we'd have to have some sort of break, so player A knocks player B out of it. Like, player A got it first, so player B's effect is ineffective, so we would have to wait for the round trip to actually teleport ourselves, so the server would have to do it. It's not nearly as responsive, but I guess that's the way to do it. The problem, of course, would be player B sees the ball at this location, they do their teleport move, and instead of going here like they thought, they go here, over on the ball in this other location, so it's going to look wrong. They're going to be like, what the hell, the ball was, you know, over next to the goal, and now I can't put it in. You know, it's really a no-win. So we're gonna have to do a fix. It's just gonna have to be that we teleport the second player back down there or some shit. It's fucking really annoying. This is the problem with having client movement and shit like that. Because if it was all server authoritative movement, we'd just be replicating this stuff down to the client, and then we wouldn't have any of these problems. Of course, the game would perform like crap, and you would miss the ball every fucking time you tried to do anything. So I I don't think I'm gonna be able to explain it to you, to be honest. Like that, it really doesn't have anything to do with. There's so many things to think about with this that I don't think it's gonna be worth explaining too much. I mean, it's networking stuff. Like if the reason why this stuff doesn't work this way is because, like, if everything was server driven, you send the inputs from the client to the server runs everything, and the client just sees what happens. What that means is if you wanted to run to the right, you're going to hold the right key, and then on the server, it's going to half a second later get that key press and actually start moving to the right. So you're not actually going to be moving for, 100 milliseconds, and you're not going to see yourself moving for another 100 milliseconds after that. So you have to then do a whole bunch of prediction stuff to be like, well, we're supposed to be moving to the right, so we're going to go ahead and move you to the right, and all this stuff. And that's not how this works, because our player's way too fast and responsive that none of that shit is going to work properly, and the animations are going to get totally fucked up, and you'll never look right. So it's basically nothing on the screen is where it is on the screen at any time at all in the game. So you have to think from like 4 different perspectives on the same object and keep in your mind where that object is actually on each one of their frames of reference. Otherwise, you can't do anything with networking with games, and that's why it's basically impossible to, because, while you see the ball traveling at this location and a person right here, I see, this person is here on this screen, but over here on this screen, this ball is in literally like 6 different locations. And the only thing that's not changing is the goal, because each one of these different players is going to see a different thing to actually score the goal here, because the person who actually hits it is going to be right there hitting the ball, which actually teleports the ball to that location, so it can be a more reliable shot for that player. And everybody else is going to see the ball that was getting popped up. All of a sudden, it's going to pop up and then go in this location, and then there's going to be an effect that plays to kind of cover up some of that. So it's all sorts of fucked up. And usually the ball teleport is not an issue because nobody else is interacting directly with the ball, so the ball will glide over to where it's supposed to be. So we would want to teleport the ball in the server, but not teleport it on the client, which would result in the ball getting sucked over to the frozen area. But if, you snag the ball on your screen and it gets pulled away, I would just have to have, if the ball gets pulled away, something like you lose it. So I'll probably not fix it. I can probably do a client side. Well, you lost the battle. It's not a good solution though. It's going to go to the server to freeze it, or we're already on the server because we don't have a player controller. Yeah, basically in some respects, if I was going to redo this entire game, I probably would have just not done any of this crap. The other question is if we should just say to hell with multiplayer with some of this stuff, because it's going to be too much of a pain in the ass, too many compromises eventually to make interesting abilities that work over the network. So there'll probably have to be some sorts of this ability is not available in multiplayer. But as soon as we start doing that, We might as well cancel multiplayer in some respects. Because we're just never gonna fucking do it. Because it's difficult. So we just won't do it. That's what people do. It's like, oh, it's too difficult to look over my shoulder. I'm gonna just merge over into this lane without looking. It's just human nature. I really don't like that frozen effect. I hope that's placeholder. It's facing the wrong direction. I mean, there's no reason why, from a gameplay perspective, that abilities available in single player aren't always available in multiplayer. That makes sense. The problem is, from a development perspective, we will create abilities that are not able to be used over the network because it's easier to do that, and therefore we will not make abilities work over the network that probably should work over the network. It's human nature to not do that. Especially in games where it's not like we have all the time in the world, everything can always be improved, there's always a new level or something to tune. We literally just will not be successful at making many abilities for multiplayer. And multiplayer will suffer, especially since we're doing mainly single player. So, that's just how it goes. Alright, so why don't we just run a dedicated server? See if we get this to work. Won't even fucking start up. Great. Why didn't it start up? Dashkin audio bank? What? Critical veil is valid. Dashkin audio bank number 97. 97. It's basically if we truly wanted to make the multiplayer better, we would not spend. If we wanted to make the single player the game and everything like that, then we wouldn't waste time on single player content, on multiplayer content, because it's just going to slow down development of the single player game. So what we would do is basically just you just wouldn't do anything for the multiplayer, and that basically means it's canceled. But it's a problem. Oh my god. Really? This thing doesn't return a pointer, it returns a reference, and of course that means that it gets blown to pieces if it does anything. So let's see if we ever call this anywhere else, because it's because how much work do I really want to do on all this stuff? How much work can we do? You know, is basically the multiplayer going to put the single player in jeopardy in terms of our development? And how much work is it going to be to actually continue to make these multiplayer function properly? Well, I guess what we'll have to do is see how it goes. There's only so much we can actually do in this game before it becomes a completely unmanageable pile of crap. So we're gonna need to focus on stuff. I don't know what you're talking about, Karkin. So I should fix the server. Well, we'll see if we have any other errors with startup with an editor build. Is that what you do now only for multiplayer, make the aim shot work through the server? I still really don't know what you're talking about. Because I don't know what is in... I don't... Pronouns do not work for me. It's a lot of different constructors. What is this trash? Yeah, because I like work through the server. I don't know what you mean. Like, there's so many different ways to put that into practice that the problem with all this is you need to understand networking stuff, and the networking terminology is very precise because it has to be, and it's a mess. It's usually why there's specific types of games that run over the network and not others, just because there's so much more complicated. See if this will even start up for us. As you can see, it's all sorts of fucked up over the network. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. If you don't know the terminology, it's impossible to communicate on a lot of these things. Alright, well, this should at least have the ball set in its position and not have gravity, so make sure that works. Is this player stuck in the ceiling? What in the hell is going on? Get player controller return from function record ball touch. Alright. Doesn't look nearly as bad as I thought it would. Alright, so record ball touch inside of get player controller turn from function record ball touch cast it. Get player shims record ball touch. Alright, fine. So we'll take a look at the actual striking of the thing now. As long as the ball's not moving. If the ball's moving, it's probably gonna look really fucked up. A Fallout related announcement? What, they're gonna get Skyrim running in Fallout 4? I mean, I would imagine what, like, what would Fallout, like, the next, I guess they're going to be working on Elder Scrolls Online, right? So they're not going to be making a new Elder Scrolls game. So if they're going to be making a new Fallout game, oh, what is it going to be, Fallout MMO or some shit? Are they going to make a Fallout Shelter 2? When the hell did Fallout 4 even come out? Came out like 3 years ago? Yeah, I mean, you could kind of see another Fallout coming out, right? Yeah, I'm not thinking it's a new game. Like, it would have to be. I would imagine it would be a remaster of one of the previous ones or something like that, because I think a lot of people haven't played them who got brought in to Bethesda games with Skyrim and the rest there. And I certainly haven't played through all the Fallouts. Like, I would take Fallout 4 and try to do like Fallout 1 over again or something. Get player controller. So it's going to be that the hitter was none? How in the hell is that possible that hitter was none? If it would be if the player controller was nothing? Get player controller return value. Yeah. Alright, let's go to the player control. So freeze ball is working there. The issue is going to be when we actually, on animation end for aim shot, unlock, stop aim shot, unlock animation, calculate aim shot direction. So it's going to be what? Perform aim shot. So we'll unfreeze the ball, but we don't want to unfreeze it locally. We want to call our level shims and actually do that stuff in here. So it's going to be this so this will be server aim shot hits. So we're gonna need hitter ball previous. Yeah. So run on server reliable. Yes, we're gonna have location, direction, and force. My mic sounds terrible. Yeah. Welcome to not having a good mic. Testing one more time. Alright, is that any better? I think the noise gate was just screwed up there. But does that at least make it so it doesn't sound terrible all the time, but only sounds terrible when I talk? There's a frequency-based noise gate. Is that just a filter on that thing? Would it be... Because there's noise gate, but then there's like noise suppression and other crap like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to go through. As long as it's not just constantly buzzing, then that's fine with me. But it's also that there's a lot of electrical interference with my case and my mic and everything like that.